Live from WTVO Rockford and your home team, Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
Illinois senators sign off on a clean energy bill, what it means for the state line's nuclear power plant and the Byron community it calls home.
A man shows up at a local hospital moments after a shooting at a new Milford bar. Sheriff's deputies explain what they found at the scene.
More than a week after a Rockford woman goes viral for fighting off a criminal, her future with her employer is still uncertain. We follow up with the subway worker. Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Eric Wilson. The Illinois Senate approved Governor J.B. Pritzker's climate change agenda. He says he will sign it into law. Tamon Bradley breaks the bill down for us from Springfield.
Today, a huge sigh of relief in Springfield.
We have an opportunity here today to vote on a bill that literally will save tens of thousands of jobs.
The Senate okayed the House changes to a massive energy bill. Exelon had warned that today was deadline day, and without a taxpayer bailout, it would close the Byron nuclear plant today and its Dresden facility in November. The bill saves the nuclear plants, at least for now. But the legislation also takes a crack at climate change. The bill requires most coal plants to close by the end of the decade, and it phases out natural gas by 2045. It also provides renewed subsidies for wind and solar energy projects and rebates for some electric vehicle purchases.
Our goal all along was to enact reliable, renewable, and affordable energy policies that put Illinois in a position as the nation's leader.
The legislation takes aim at a top carbon polluter, the Prairie State Generating Station, pushing it to reduce emissions by 45% by 2035 and completely by 2045. Illinoisans will pay for the policy overhaul. The average residential customer's bill will likely increase by $4.50 per month. Some Senate Republicans slam the final legislation.
This bill is a blatant attack on small businesses and a disservice to downstate Illinois.
Here we are, another bailout bill that's going to be the greatest energy increase in Illinois history. I urge a no vote.
State Representative Marcus Evans, a lead negotiator in the House, explained the importance of Springfield acting.
We got to build out the solar infrastructure for the future. We got to address reliability today, and we have to phase out the dirty industry.
Governor Pritzker celebrated the bill passing.
I am very proud and pleased to see that Illinois is going to be one of the leading states in the nation when it comes to addressing climate change.
That was Tamon Bradley reporting. Exelon commended Governor Pritzker and the General Assembly's actions. The energy company's president released a statement reading in part, quote, "This new policy offers a better future for the employees who have run these plants at world-class levels, the plant communities that we are privileged to serve, and all Illinoisans eager to build a clean energy economy that works for everyone."
Shots ring out at a new Milford bar over the weekend. This happened early Saturday morning at the filling station. Winnebago County Sheriff's deputies responded to the restaurant on 11th Street after a report of someone shooting. Investigators found bullet holes in the building and in several cars in the parking lot. A while later, officers learned a man had taken himself to the hospital after getting shot. He's expected to be okay. If you know anything about the shooting, contact the Sheriff's Department Detective Bureau.
A woman is behind bars after allegedly crashing into a Winnebago County Sheriff's squad car. This happened late Saturday night on Laurel Cherry Drive near Perryville. That's where police say the woman struck a marked squad car. A tow truck was also hit. No one was hurt. The driver then took off. Investigators with Boone County Sheriff's Police say they found 20-year-old Naomi Anguiano. A while later, she faces multiple charges. An underage passenger was also cited.
A Rockford woman isn't sure where she stands with her employer after fighting off an armed robber. Last week, we brought you the story of the local subway worker.
Back then, her manager said she would be suspended from work until a leaked video of the incident was removed from the internet. Rachel Perry caught up with the woman again. What did you learn?
Mimi and Eric, I sat down with Araceli Sotelo today, more than 1 week after the robbery. She tells me she still isn't sure what her employment status is with the restaurant and that her boss is dodging her calls.
What is your status?
I'm suspended. I haven't been put on the schedule. I'm kind of just let go, I guess. They haven't reached out to me. I think they're waiting for me to just quit so they could spread out to the media that, like, no, we didn't fire her, we suspended her, but then she quit. That's what I feel like they want.
And are you going to do that?
No.
Araceli Sotelo says she was working alone at the subway on East State near 9th last Sunday when a man with a gun walked in demanding money. Surveillance video shows Sotelo fighting back. That video was leaked online and now she's suspended.
I really put my life in danger. My life was in danger, and I feel like no one cares because of that, you know? And they let me go, and I feel like they're just treating me like I never meant nothing, like the way they just suspended me.
In a statement, Subway's corporate headquarters say, "We are deeply concerned about the recent incident at a franchise location in Rockford, Illinois. The restaurant owner and management are fully cooperating with the police investigation, and we request patience until that process is complete." But Sotelo says neither corporate, the franchise owner, nor the manager are speaking to her.
No one's checked to see if I was okay, you know, because I'm not okay from this.
And they say they're concerned. Do you think that's genuine?
No, they're not. I feel like they're not concerned for me. They're concerned for their business.
She's tried calling her boss several times, but says he never picks up.
Please leave your message for...
This is Araceli Sotelo, and I'm calling so I could talk to you. If you could please just reach out back to me.
The GoFundMe for Sotelo to replace her purse and fix her phone was originally for $1,000 and is at nearly $16,000 now. She says talk shows are reaching out to her and she's hopeful her story will inspire other girls to stand up for themselves. I did reach out to the Subway owner several times this week through both text and phone calls, but have not heard back. Eric?
Thanks, Rachel. State Line College is hailed as one of the top liberal arts schools in the nation. U.S. News and World Report ranked Beloit College number 75 on the list. It scored even higher for most innovative schools, coming in at number 9. This is the second year in a row Beloit's reached the top 10 in that category. As for other local schools, Rockford University ranked number 119 in regional universities Midwest, and Northern Illinois University reached 62nd place in best undergrad engineering programs.
A disease outbreak shuts down a State Line animal shelter. Staff at Noah's Ark say distemper has led to the deaths of a handful of cats.
Michelle Rave talked with the shelter's executive director. Michelle, what are the risks from distemper?
Eric, Mimi, I spoke with the executive director of Noah's Ark Animal Sanctuary, who tells me feline distemper is a very serious virus, and if it's caught too late, it can be fatal for the cats. This past weekend, Noah's Ark Animal Sanctuary closed due to a feline distemper outbreak, something the nonprofit hasn't ever seen before.
It was a kitten in a litter. We came in the morning. The cats appeared fine the previous day, and the kitten was recumbent and down. When we took it over to the hospital, they immediately tested for it. It is a tough disease to fight because it, just like parvovirus in dogs, it hits very hard, very fast. Highly contagious, just like parvovirus in dogs. This is our first time seeing it come through our kennel.
So far, 5 kittens and 1 cat have died. Noah's Ark Executive Director Stephanie Lauer says this isn't just a local problem.
It's not what I would consider common, as in it's an everyday thing. But we are seeing an outbreak in the entire United States. It is not just here. I've actually contacted rescues in California. And they're fighting it just tooth and nail.
The sanctuary has taken extensive cleaning measures to contain the disease and prevent other cats from getting sick.
Saturday it was just my coworker and I, and it took us 8 hours. Like from the minute we walked in at 7, and I think we probably clocked out at 3:15. You think you get them and save them and bring them in here and they're going to be okay, and then you find out they have something from before you even took them and there was nothing you could do in the first place.
Lauer says the best way to prevent distemper is getting your pets vaccinated.
It's preventable. All you have to do is get a vaccine for your animal once a year from your veterinarian, and we don't have to have this.
Right now, the sanctuary is only allowing scheduled appointments for dog adoptions. Cats at the shelter will not be allowed out for the next 7 days. To find more information about their hours, you can find that on mystateline.com. Eric?
Michelle, thanks.
Now, your first warned weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Well, we had back-to-back 89-degree days this weekend, both Saturday and Sunday. Today, that temperature made it up to 90 degrees. That's as that cold front that came through yesterday evening has now pulled back up to the north. And you can tell just by looking at temperatures where that warm front sits. Where we're at 79 in Janesville, we're at 88 in Rockford, 87 in Freeport, and 75 just 35 minutes up to the north there in Monroe. Our weather watcher watch our temperatures here across the board, checking in the mid and upper 80s. No rainfall today, and really our rain chance going to stay fairly low here as we go through this evening. We've got that southerly wind pulling in that moisture, feeling more muggy out there, while areas to the north dealing with that northerly wind. Winds have been a little bit on the breezy side, and they will stay kind of breezy as we go through the night tonight, but you can see all that warmth that expands to the south and southwest, which is going to help keep us with that more summer-like heat here over the next several days. Now, we have had the cloud cover around, but most of the shower and thunderstorm activity has been to the north in Wisconsin, so we are not really going to be too concerned with that, and the risk for any strong, severe thunderstorms expected to stay up to the north here. But there is an upper level disturbance currently moving out of the plains into the upper Midwest. For the most part, this is going to track to the north of us tonight. It may bring us an isolated shower or a rumble of thunder across parts of southern Wisconsin, here across far northern Illinois. This would be at about 1, 2 o'clock tomorrow morning, and then moving to the east as we head towards sunrise. That warm front pulls to the north. We do have a cold front that comes in rather quickly behind that between about 1 and 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, but notice things not really lighting up with a lot of activity. I think we'll see that front kind of light up with a few more thunderstorms once it gets a little more to our east and southeast. So while I did hang on to an isolated thunderstorm chance for the morning and then into the afternoon, the overall coverage of that expected to stay fairly low. High pressure then builds in once we get into Wednesday. That'll bring us a break from the humidity, but not necessarily that heat, because we are still going to see those temperatures above average. And here's that risk for strong, severe thunderstorms for tomorrow across parts of east central Illinois, back out through Indiana and Michigan as well. A live look with the Mercial Skytrack camera out in Rochelle this evening. One thing I wanted to point out with this, we've got kind of the haze underneath that cloudy sky, but also look how brown that grass is. You know, with the heat that's coming up here this week, we're really not going to see much in the way of rainfall. That drought monitor released last week continues to show moderate drought conditions across much of northern Illinois. Little improvement, a little decrease in those conditions, but I have a feeling after these dry and hot days we have coming up, we might see parts of those areas kind of increase with the severity of the drought. And I mentioned rain because through the next week, we've got limited rainfall chances. That may change a little bit once we kind of shift our pattern around into next week, but look at the heat that sticks around. Temperatures staying in the 80s, and we could even tag that 90-degree mark again later this week and into the weekend. 69, that's where we head for the overnight tonight. Temperature tomorrow back into the mid and upper 80s for the afternoon, right around 87 degrees for our high. Partly sunny, muggy, isolated thunderstorm. It does get a little on the windy side. This is what it looks like here, guys, over the next 7 days. 80 will be our coolest day this week, back up to 85 on Friday. Might see an isolated thunderstorm. Might have to watch the timing of that, guys, Friday evening. But then look at those 90s to wrap up this upcoming weekend.
Now, the Napleton Sports Desk with Sports Director Scott Lever.
No one should be surprised by what we saw from the Bears last night. The only thing that surprised me was how well the Bears ran the ball with David Montgomery behind the Bears' offensive line. The Bears should have given Montgomery the ball more times than the 16 carries he got, but that's Matt Nagy. He goes away from the run game even when it's working. And forget about the quarterbacks for a moment. These are the Bears' biggest problems. One, this isn't a top 10 defense anymore. I'm not even sure it's a top 20 defense. They could finish the season somewhere around 22nd or 23rd. That secondary is weak. Plus, this defense hasn't been good the last 2 years at getting takeaways, and last night it had 0 takeaways. Problem number 2 for the Bears, and it keeps getting worse due to injuries, the left tackle position. Problem number 3 is the offense lacks home run hitters, guys who are threats to break off a touchdown of 60 or more yards. Because of that, the only way the Bears can score is by putting together long 10 to 16 play drives. When you have that many plays to run, at some point, a holding penalty, a sack, or a turnover is bound to stop them. As far as the quarterbacks go, I look for Justin Fields to keep getting more and more snaps as the weeks go by. The fact that the offense is really bad this Sunday against the Bengals, I think he'll be starting in week 3 for this team. As for the Packers, I said last Thursday they would not look good against the Saints because they sat their starters in the preseason, but I never in my wildest imagination thought they'd look as bad as they did. I thought they'd still win that game. This disastrous performance might work in their favor in the long run, though. Show them and show Aaron Rodgers that they can't just show up and wind up in the NFC Championship game in January because they've done it the last 2 years. Little humble pie for Rodgers won't hurt either. After what he put this franchise through in the offseason, he needs to produce at an MVP level again or close to it. I expect the Packers and Rodgers to bounce back this week. By mid-October, they'll be sitting on top of the division, and this game will be a distant memory. It was also a rough start for James Robinson. The Jaguars lost to the lowly Texans. Robinson got only 5 carries and gained 25 yards. Meanwhile, Carlos Hyde got 9 carries. Urban Meyer's going to go with his former Ohio State guy, Hyde, over Robinson. That's just Urban Meyer. And the Jaguars are so bad they'll be trailing a lot this season and be forced to pass the ball to play catch-up. Robinson will have a very difficult time matching the stats he put up last season, not through any fault of his own, but because of the situation there in Jacksonville. That's my take. We'll be right back.
Candace will have a final look at weather in just a moment.
But first, here's what's coming up on News Nation.
Tonight on the Donlin Report, there are new details on who helped the terrorists leading up to the 9/11 attacks. A widow reacts to the newly declassified information. We'll also talk to the top Republican on the Foreign Affairs Committee tonight. Now here's Leland Vittert with a preview of On Balance.
Thanks, Joe. Back from the dead, Osama bin Laden's successor makes a surprise appearance after rumors of his death. His message on 9/11 and what this means for U.S. security on the home front. That's coming up on Balance tonight, followed by News Nation Prime.
You can catch News Nation on cable and satellite stations you see here. You can also head to newsnation.com.
Things are going to stay pretty toasty for us the next couple of days. Tonight, that temperature down into the upper 60s. We've got a bit of cloud cover out there tonight. Our first warn interactive radar brought to us by Rockford Auto Glass and more. We've got a few clouds that'll stay with us too. Some showers up to the north. Isolated thunderstorm possible for the overnight. Up to 87 tomorrow. That'll be ahead of a cold front that'll come through during the afternoon. May kick off a shower thunderstorm for the afternoon. After that, we're drying out. We lose a little bit of the humidity come Wednesday, Thursday. It does return though as our temperatures climb. Unfortunately, if you're looking for a little more fall-like feel as we get closer to the official beginning of fall, guys, you might have to be waiting a little while with those 90s.
All right, thanks, Candace.
And thank you for spending some of your time with us. Stay safe.